Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to English with Ikram. Lectureship test, English lectureship test is confirmed now. Roll number slips have been issued. The date is 14 September. So you have just 1 week. You have to speed up your preparation. As regards my preparation package, you know that I have discussed linguistics, vocabulary, grammar, almost 50% literature. So the remaining portion of literature, that's I'm going to discuss, and now inshallah I will upload video based on MCQs related with literature on daily basis. और आपको भी अब कमर कसनी है. Now you have to be very much serious. टाइम बहुत थोड़ा है. 45 MCQs, 1 घंटा आपके पास टाइम होगा. 45 MCQs होंगे और आपका जो रिलेटेड फील्ड है, आई मीन लिंग्विस्टिक्स एंड लिटरेचर एंड वोकैबुलरी यू कैन नो और ग्रामर. तो मेरे साथ जो लोग तैयारी कर रहे थे, मैंने उनके ग्रामर का पोर्शन कंप्लीट 100%. अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह दे आर वेरी मच सेटिस्फाइड. लिंग्विस्टिक्स, फोनेटिक्स, सेंटेक्स और मॉर्फोलॉजी, इसमें से जो MCQs हो सकते थे, जो कॉन्सेप्चुअल था मैंने डिस्कस किया. दैन लिटरेचर में मैंने फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच और कुछ पीरियड्स. तो आज की वीडियो में आई विल डिस्कस 20 MCQs बेस्ड ऑन जनरल कॉन्सेप्ट्स ऑफ पोइट्री. पोइट्री से रिलेटेड जनरल कॉन्सेप्ट जो पोइट्री है उससे रिलेटेड जो MCQs पेपर में आ सकते हैं, आज की वीडियो में मैं वो डिस्कस करूँगा. और इसके बाद जितने भी पीरियड्स हैं, रोमांटिक्स हैं, एलिज़ाबेथन पीरियड है, रेनेसां पीरियड है, डिफरेंट ड्रामाटिस्ट हैं, नॉवलिस्ट हैं, उन पे बेस्ड MCQs में डेली बेसिस पे अब मैं 20-30 MCQ डिस्कस करता रहूँगा. डेली आप वीडियो देखें, इंशाल्लाह ये MCQs, ये वीडियोस आपके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्पफुल होंगे. और टेस्ट के बाद मेरे तमाम स्टूडेंट्स, मेरे तमाम जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं ग्रुप के, जिनको मैं तैयारी करवाता रहा हूँ, मुझे उम्मीद है कि मुझे अपना वो फीडबैक देंगे इंशाल्लाह. और इसके साथ एक न्यूज़ भी दे दूँ कि 14 सितंबर को आपका टेस्ट है. तो 15 सितंबर से ये प्रिपरेशन जो है आपकी 10-11 से चलेगी. जो मेरे साथ ग्रुप में लोग हैं, तो ये लोग दोबारा सब्जेक्ट स्पेशलिस्ट के लिए भी अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. इनके लिए जो रजिस्ट्रेशन प्रोसेस क्या होगा, इनकी फ़ी जाहिर सी बात है, मेरे साथ ऑलरेडी 2 महीने चले हैं, इनकी फ़ी इसकी कम होगी. और जो सब्जेक्ट स्पेशलिस्ट के लिए नए पार्टिसिपेंट, नए लोग आएंगे, उनके लिए फ़ी जो भी मैं बताऊंगा. तो इंशाल्लाह 15 सितंबर से सब्जेक्ट स्पेशलिस्ट प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट होगी. तो आज की वीडियो 20 MCQs बेस्ड ऑन जनरल concepts of poetry. Let's get started. Number 1. A dash is a set in the present, catching a speaker in the moment of expression. Dash is the set in the present, catching a speaker in the moment of expression. The options are narrative, elegy, sonnet or lyric. You have discussed all, we have studied all these things, then obviously you are capable of attempting all these MCQs. This is a sort of self assessment. मैं बार बार कहता हूँ कि आपने ये स्टडी चीज़ें की हुई हैं, तो आप खुद भी, आपकी एक प्रैक्टिस हो रही है. और मैंने आपको जो ट्रिक्स बताई थी MCQs में, उसमें ये जो ट्रिक नंबर 4 थी कि यू हैव टू स्टडी स्मार्ट. स्टडी स्मार्ट का मतलब ये था कि प्रैक्टिस एज मच एज यू कैन. तो ये प्रैक्टिस है आपकी. अगर आपने पहले से ही चीज़ें स्टडी की हुई तो आप प्रैक्टिस करेंगे वेदर आपके माइंड में ये MCQs हैं कि नहीं है, आपका जो बैकग्राउंड है, नॉलेज है कि नहीं है, आपका ये कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है कि नहीं है. तो इस तरह की बात चीज़ें भूल जाती हैं. आप स्टडी करते हैं भूल जाती है. इसमें इस तरह का कोई कॉन्सेप्ट तो है नहीं है, जो स्टडी है तो भूल जाती हैं चीज़ें. तो व्हाट डू यू थिंक? द राइट ऑप्शन इज़ लिरिक. लिरिक इज़ सेट इन द प्रेजेंट, कैचिंग अ स्पीकर in the moment of expression. So it's lyric, option D. Next, a dash is set in the past, telling what happened once. A dash is set in the past, telling what happened once. It's a sort of a story. The options are narrative, elegy, sonnet or lyric. So here I think it's very simple. The option is option A, narrative. A narrative is set in the past, telling what happened once. Next is, if a lyric is melancholy or mournfully contemplative, especially if it laments at death, it may be called, is that clear? If a lyric is melancholy, melancholy means based on sorrow, or mournfully contemplative, especially when it laments at death, when some poet is lamenting on somebody's death, then it is called narrative, elegy, sonnet or lyric. So, this is elegy, that is a form of poetry in which a poet is lamenting over the death of his friend or any other person. Urdu में से कहते हैं मरसिया. Next, a poem in words form that tell a story is called, a poem in words form that tell the story, that is called, the options are ballad, fable, song or sonnet. It's very simple. So, a poem in verse form that tells the story is called, option A, it's ballad. It's ballad, right? Next, Desh is long narrative that tells of the deeds and adventures of hero or heroine. Desh is long narrative that tells the deeds and adventures of a hero or heroine. The options are epic, elegy, sonnet or lyric. This what genre of poetry it belongs to? It is a long narrative, it's epic, a long narrative that tells about the deeds and adventures of hero or heroine, right? It is epic. In poetry, the recurrence of rhythmic pattern is called, in poetry, the recurrence of, when it occurs repeatedly, of rhythmic pattern is called meter, rhythm, rhyme or lyric. When there is repetition of rhythm, this is called, option B, it's rhythm. Next, Desh is a poem presenting shepherds in rural setting, usually in an idealized manner. Desh is a form of poem that presents shepherds, charwais हम कहते हैं, in rural settings, usually in an idealized manner, that is called ballad, song, pastoral or rustic. This is the form of poetry, the genre of poetry. This is pastoral, a poem presenting shepherds in rural settings, right? Number next, the writer of Desh in one way or another ridicules an aspect or several aspects of human behavior, seeking to arouse in the reader some degree of amused contempt for the object. I think I should repeat it. The writer of Desh in one way or another ridicules an aspect or several aspects of human behavior, seeking to arouse in the reader some degree of amused contempt for the object. The options are humor, irony, satire, sarcasm. What is this? This is option C, it's satire, right? Next, however urbane in nature, the Desh is always critical. However urbane in nature, the Desh is always critical. Humanist, humorist, satirist or poet, always critical. In previous MCQ, I think the concept is clear. So, this is option C, satirist. Next, the poets employ dash of speech to gain special effects. I have discussed in one of my previous videos. The poets employ dash of speech to gain some special effects. Parts of speech, figures of speech, words of speech or phrases of speech. It's very simple. Figures of speech. The poets employ figures of speech to gain some special effects, right? Next, in Desh something is named, there replaces something else closely related to it. In Desh, that's again a sort of a figure of speech. In Desh, something is named that replaces something else which is closely linked with it. That is apostrophe, it's metonymy, it's imagery, or it's synecdoche. When one thing is replaced with something else that is closely linked to it, so that is the right option is option B, it's metonymy. Next, dash are the sensory content of works, whether literal or figurative. Dash are the sensory content of a work, whether literal or figurative. The options are apostrophe, metonymy, images, or synecdoche. The sensory content that is related with the senses. The options are apostrophe, metonymy, images, or synecdoche. The right option over here is option C, images. Images are the sensory content of work that whether literal or figurative. Next, dash is the repetition of sounds of importantly positioned words in a poem. Dash is the repetition of sounds of importantly positioned words in a poem. The options are rhythm, rhyme, pattern, or poetic. The right option is option B, it's rhyme. Rhyme is the repetition of sounds of importantly positioned words in a poem. That is rhyme. Next, dash is a pattern of stresses and pauses linking the words into a unit. Dash is a pattern of stresses and pauses linking the words into a unit. Options are rhythm, B, rhyme, C, pattern, D, poetic. The right option over here is it's rhythm. It's rhythm. Okay, next. These are some selected MCQs that I have selected from different past papers and the repeated MCQs जो बार बार पेपर्स में आते हैं उनको मैंने सिलेक्ट किया हुआ और पेपर्स में से अक्सर पेपर में ये MCQs आए हैं, चाहे वो PPSC के हैं, पंजाब के हैं, डिफरेंट जो हमारे कमीशन के पेपर्स हैं उनमें से मैंने MCQs लिए हुए हैं. Next, the study of the principles of words structure, including meter, rhyme, and other sum effects and stanzic patterns is called, that's again very important. The study of the principles of words structure, including meter, rhyme, and other sound effects and stanzic patterns is called, the options are prose, poetry, prosody, and lexicography. The right option is option C, is prosody. The right option is prosody. The study of the principles of word structure, including meter, rhyme, and other sound effects and stanzic pattern, that is prosody. Next, most of English poetry is a pattern of dash sound, and this pattern is the meter. Most of English poetry is a pattern of dash sounds, and this pattern is the meter. The options are stress, unstressed, voiced, voiceless. And the right option is option A, stressed. Most of English poetry is a pattern of stress sounds, and this pattern is the meter. Next, in a line of poetry, the dash is the basic unit of measurement. In a line of poetry, the dash is the basic unit of measurement. That's again very much important. The options are meter, rhyme, foot, or stress. I think it's very simple for you. The right option is option C, it's foot. In a line of poetry, the foot is the basic unit of poetry. Next, dash, the most common pattern in English speech is also the most common in English poetry. The dash, the most common pattern in English speech is also the most common in English poetry. The options are meter, rhyme, iamb, or stress. And the right option is option C, it's iamb. The IMP is the most common pattern in English speech, and this is also the most common in English poetry. Next, one unstressed dash followed by one stressed dash is called IMP. What is an IMP? That's the definition. One unstressed dash followed by one stressed dash is called IMP. Right? The options are meter, rhyme, syllable, and D word. The right option is option C, it's syllable. That's the definition of IMP. One unstressed syllable followed by one stressed syllable is called IMP. Dash is number next. Dash is also called a rising meter. Another definition of IMP. Dash is also called rising meter. The options are meter, rhyme, IMP, or stress. Again, I think you have got my point. The right option is option C, it's IMP. IMP is also called a rising meter, right? Number next. Dash is a 4-line stanza, rhymed or unrhymed. Dash is a 4-line stanza, rhymed or unrhymed. 4-line stanza. It may be rhymed or unrhymed. Quatrain, heroic, stanza, or octosyllabic. And the right option is 4-line stanza. इसको उर्दू में कहते हैं रुबाई. That's option A, it's quatrain. These were 20 MCQs based on English poetry. The concepts of English poetry, general concept of English poetry. In my next video, that will be based on syntax. Mostly students have asked about syntax, the very much complicated, very complex part of linguistics. लिंग्विस्टिक्स में सबसे मुश्किल, जब मैं लिंग्विस्टिक्स से मास्टर कर रहा था, मेरे लिए भी सबसे मुश्किल, सबसे बोरिंग, सबसे ट्रिकी चीज़ जो थी, दैट वाज सिंटैक्स इन लिंग्विस्टिक्स. बाकी फोनेटिक्स एंड फोनोलॉजी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, दैट माय फेवरेट फील्ड. फिर मॉर्फोलॉजी ठीक है, साइको लिंग्विस्टिक्स अच्छा है, न्यूरो बहुत अच्छी है. सिंटैक्स दैट्स वेरी टेक्निकल, वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड. तो सिंटैक्स से इंशाल्लाह 15 MCQs कल मैं लोड करूँगा, अपलोड करूँगा ये स्टूडेंट्स की डिमांड पे. उसके बाद बाकी जो इंशाल्लाह वो लिटरेचर से ही होंगे, क्योंकि लिंग्विस्टिक्स में ऑलमोस्ट मैं आपको मटेरियल भी सेंड करता रहा हूँ, उसकी MCQs बहुत डिस्कस कर चुका हूँ. तो अब ज़्यादातर जो चीज़ें रहती हैं वो लिटरेचर की हैं. जितने भी पीरियड्स हैं, जितने पोइट्स हैं, ड्रामाटिस्ट हैं जो मशहूर, या ओवरऑल जो लास्ट पेपर में से जो डिफरेंट MCQs हैं जनरल लिटरेचर बेस्ड, आई विल कीप ऑन अपलोडिंग. So watch my videos, keep on watching my all videos for the preparation of English lectureship test and the test of subject specialist. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.